In a move that is mildly surprising, though not at all shocking, the Kansas City Chiefs have re-signed safety Mike Edwards for the upcoming season, and I think that there is one clear reason that they are doing this. It is the clear reason that they have continued throughout the offseason, but we will get to that in a moment. From Tom Pelissero on Twitter/X, veteran safety Mike Edwards is signing with the Chiefs on a one-year deal per source. Back with the team he won a Super Bowl with 2 years ago. These are his PFF grades from last season. A 72 overall grade, a 51.5 pass rush grade, not all that important right there from the safety position, an 83.5 run defense grade, and a 66.3 pass coverage grade. Now, we'll get to why these scores aren't necessarily all that important anyway, but for this case, right? I think they do tell us things sometimes about the players, but for this case, maybe it's not the most important thing. But I would venture to wager that this is kind of what Mike Edwards' entire career looks like. 72 is a solid score, 83.5 a really good rush defender, and 66.3 in coverage. He does seem to be a guy that takes some gambles sometimes. He does seem to be a guy that is maybe a step slower than a lot of the wide receivers on the field. So being weaker in coverage than run defense has kind of been what he has done, in my opinion, through his entire career. We have his stats here. Cumulatively from his career. I know that's going to be difficult to see from your end, but even though he does have that low pass rush rate, he does have 3 career sacks from the safety position. When you're looking at a guy who is really giving up not a whole lot through the air, it is, I think, confounding to see him struggle in the pass defense grade 66.3 while only giving up a 70.8 total last season, a 77.2 rating in the 2023 season, a 110.4 in 2022. Right, so you're not looking at a guy who really gets taken advantage of out there on the field. It's just maybe there are some higher leverage problems with him on the field. If he gets matched up with some speed, not the best deal for him. Now, here's what we're looking at from a snaps perspective. His rookie season, 614, then he fell all the way down to 188 in his second season, despite playing in 16 games. 531 his third season in the league. 814 his last season in Tampa Bay. Came to Kansas City, played 621 snaps, and then last season between Buffalo and Tampa Bay, he played only 191 snaps on the entire season through 8 games, 8 appearances, 2 starts, and really only 7 of those snaps were with the Buffalo Bills. What happened last season? Well, it's this. Week 7 of 2024, he was listed as questionable with an illness. Week 14 and 15, he was out with a hamstring. Week 16, he was questionable with the hamstring. And in the wild card round, he was questionable with a quadricep. He was injured quite a few times last season. So 3 talking points really when it gets to Mike Edwards and the Kansas City Chiefs re-signing him at the safety position. This is more or less a move to make up for Justin Reid moving on. Justin Reid moved on this offseason. The Kansas City Chiefs lost that veteran leadership at the safety position. Not going to have they were not going to have too terribly much experience back there at the safety spot, and I think they wanted to make sure that they had a veteran leader in the locker room. I think the Chiefs do feel good about Jaden Hicks. He really started to come on towards the end of last year. He really flashed a few times here and there, and he does have all the physical tools that you would want from a safety. I think Jaden Hicks is going to be the Justin Reid type safety for this defense. Justin Reid kind of was that catch-all safety. He wasn't really the guy who would have to be at the line of scrimmage. He wasn't really the guy who had to be back in coverage. He was the all-around safety. I think that is what they envision for Jaden Hicks this coming season and probably going forward, because he does flash in all phases of the game. He flashes versus the run and the pass. So if they can get him to accelerate what it is that he is doing at the safety position, his development there, it would be good for the team, because by the time they get to the playoffs in the 2025 season, he could be hitting full stride. Second season, deep in the season, played an entire postseason this year. By the time the playoffs come around next season, Jaden Hicks really could be the guy that the Kansas City Chiefs have at the safety position. So what's this all about? So long as last year, with his low snap counts and high injury totals, was an anomaly, so long as that is an outlier and that is not who he is now, which is always a possibility, right? This is the NFL. Mike Edwards is getting a little bit older. It's possible that he hits the bump. It is possible that Father Time wins. Father Time is undefeated. We have seen this countless times with the Kansas City Chiefs, countless times in your history as a football fan. So long as that is not what befell Mike Edwards last season, he's a solid pickup. He's a solid addition. He's someone who is going to be able to get on the field and provide meaningful reps. We don't really know the terms, at least I don't know the terms, couldn't find the terms of this contract so far, which we have to imagine that they are fairly meager. The Kansas City Chiefs don't have a whole lot of money to be throwing around at this point. So getting a solid guy like this in for cheap money is a good thing all the time, and all the time it's a good thing. It tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to speed run a full-blown rebuild, but they're not going to sacrifice this season in order to have a rebuild. Just like they have all off season, this move is about putting the Kansas City Chiefs in position to draft the best player each and every time they come up to bat in the NFL draft. So there's a couple spots still that are a little bit weak, right? Who do you have at wide receiver 4? It's not the biggest deal. Who do you have at defensive tackle 2? Is that the most impactful position on the defense? No. Who do you have at your second edge position? All of these things are questions that the Chiefs will have to answer, but there's no pressing need for them to go out and get one of these players in the first round of the draft, etc. You saw with the Jalen Moore contract that what the Chiefs did there was hand themselves a 2-year runway towards figuring out exactly what to do with the left tackle position. Maybe that is make Jalen Moore your long-term left tackle. Maybe that is keep drafting and developing. Maybe that is, hey, trade up and get someone with a very high ceiling, but maybe needs a year to sit, right? They have done this around the board with their defense this with their entire roster this off season. So this is another small move that goes a long way towards making sure the Kansas City Chiefs can continue with their entire draft board to take the best player available. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, drawing multiple videos every single week, and hope to have you back for the next one.